Hi everyone, good evening. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi, managing attorney of the JQK Immigration Law Firm, headquartered in Los Angeles, California, but helping people from across the globe. Today we're going to talk about immigration, take your questions, and just get into all of it. Feel free to throw them out when they're coming. As always, I'm live here on TikTok. Immigration lawyer John is the handle every Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific to 5:30 Pacific. And on Thursdays, we're on Instagram, JQK Law Firm. Thank you everyone who's joining. As you're trickling in, feel free to throw out your questions. Hi, Fatih. As always, also have to mention that this is just educational only. So this is general information. You should consult with an immigration lawyer in private about your case because there's a lot of things we can't talk about here without knowing all the facts. So with that, let's get it started. Okay, cool. So, hi, Faisal, they said good to see you. And people on Instagram, let me just grab this glass of water. Came in a rush today. Immigration news is such a catastrophe. And I've been getting constant comments on the YouTube page where I put videos of this and clips of important facts, and people ask a lot of questions. But unfortunately, you have to remember I can't answer most of the questions without knowing your case. So we have to sit down and talk about things. And when it comes to timelines, one is I need more info for some timelines that I'm able to answer, and for other timelines it's just not even possible with the way COVID-19 is and how the embassies are shut down. So I don't even have a way of being able to answer these kind of things. So be prepared for that and with the questions that are popping up. Good to see you, Nazir, as well. Thank you for joining us on Instagram, and on TikTok we're getting more and more people coming. Thank you so much. So just to start, let's recap what's going on. So the big thing is this is some news that's helpful. Some embassies are starting to open up and schedule interviews. And what will happen is you'll get an email notice from the embassy, for example, an immigrant visa interview. I have clients or I have colleagues, and some in Italy, some in Spain who are getting interviews. But I contacted the U.S. Embassy in Abu Dhabi today, and they said they're only taking like marriage kind of cases, spouses of U.S. citizens and children of U.S. citizen kind of cases, if certain requirements are met. So be prepared for that kind of stuff. Now we have a question. Luis asks, you look like you're in a house, not office. Well, I am in a house. So that's an easy answer. And Fatima says, I want to make state ID. I can't help you with that. That's not an immigration question. Fatima says, my medical is done today. If you do a medical with the immigration office, it's really important, not the medical office, but the designated civil surgeon. If you're in the U.S., if you're overseas, you can't do this. But if you're in the U.S., you got to make sure to ask for a copy of the results to make sure the doctor didn't make any mistakes in the report. User 556 asks, hi, I just want to know about if someone is in proceedings, can he still apply for asylum? What is the process? Well, if you're in proceedings, you have to make a request, an application for asylum in proceedings. And it's possible to do that, but hopefully you haven't. It depends on where you are in the proceedings. When you have your initial calendar hearing, you're supposed to make the request for asylum. And so that's what you should have done. I'm not sure how far into it you are, but you make what's called a defensive asylum claim in removal proceedings, and you have to file a case and do it there. Definitely get an attorney for that. Fatima says, I don't have a green card. This is a very private kind of question. I won't be able to answer you here, Fatima, so definitely consult a lawyer in private. Nazir asks, I have naturalization interview on April 15th. Still I'm waiting for rescheduling. Yeah, hopefully USCIS will contact you soon. If you had a citizenship interview that was canceled due to COVID-19, they are reopening most offices, not all of them, but most offices to do these interviews. You just have to be patient to get the notice from them. Fahim follows up, they gave me an envelope, but I can't open that. So I think, is this, Fahim, did you go through the embassy system? Are you getting your green card through the embassy, or are you filing your adjustment of status? In your file for adjustment of status, you contact the doctor's office and say, please, print out and send me an additional copy of the results that I have for my records, and so you can review it, because sometimes the doctors make mistakes and don't fill out all the boxes completely. Maybe 1 out of 20 times. And that can cause a denial. So it's something very serious to be mindful of. Okay, Divorce Girl says, my doctor won't fill out my FLMA. I don't want to tell you, that's not immigration related. Let's say software asks, can a company sponsor for work permit? Is it possible? But I'm USA right now. A company can't generally sponsor for a work permit, but the work permit depends on what visa category it is, what your history of immigration is. There's a lot going on there. Generally, yes, the company can do that, but that doesn't help you at all. There's so many little details that have to be appropriate. So really you should consult with an immigration attorney, or your employer should too as well, to see what's going on and if it's possible for you guys. You're welcome, Nazir. Sammy, hi to you too. Gosha asks, hi, is there a process going because we have filed document December but still waiting? Filing a case in December till now, waiting for a decision now is normal. There's nothing abnormal. Go to uscis.gov and check the processing times for your case, but that's just normal processing. There's nothing changed for a case like that. Now, I don't know individually for you, there might be problems or issues, I don't know, but generally 6 months waiting is not something that's a problem for immigration. Sammy asks, is the USCIS office open? USCIS in general is open, kind of relates back to the previous question. They are processing cases, accepting cases, even approving some cases. But if you're doing in-person activities, they're slowly only opening up for that. So they're doing citizenship cases and emergency info pass appointments, but not adjustment of status green card interviews yet. They're still waiting on clearing the system to do that. Fahim asks, for public charge form, I have to show my bank statements. The public charge form I-944 requires a lot of different things. You can show your bank statements. In general, they want to see a big picture of your background to see how things look. If you have a lot of money in your bank or have money, you should provide it. Why not? But there's a lot going on there and see the whole situation for your case. Ruchita asks, my husband filed I-130 on August 2nd, 2019, but didn't receive anything from USCIS. When can we expect? Well, you should have got a filing receipt at least. If you didn't get that, that's a major issue. But you should then take that filing receipt, go to uscis.gov, check case processing times for your type of petition, and the service center, which is listed on the bottom left of your receipt notice, how long they're taking to process your kind of case. And if it's within regular processing time, they say, you know, cases before yours and I being decided upon, then that's that, and you should just wait more. It's not abnormal to wait a year on I-130 right now. It is what it is, but you know, check it out. If it's longer than what they expect the processing time for that service center to be, you can try calling them up or making an online request on uscis.gov. Hashmi asks, hey, I've heard that if you pass citizenship interview, the oath ceremony is on the same day of interview. True or not? Well, when COVID-19 came and they're starting to is going away or whatever, when they were starting to reopen the USCIS offices, to avoid people having to come and go multiple times to deal with citizenship, many field offices have said that if your interview gets approved right then, they're going to try to do your oath ceremony right then on the same day as well to get you in and out and not have you come back again. So that is a cool thing that does exist, and they're doing it on many field offices. I mean, every office is different and every case is different. They can do things differently, but that's the general goal, is to do your oath ceremony on the same day for now. We'll see how it works out in the future. Richie, he is a green card holder. Richie, I can't remember your original question, but you know, maybe post the whole sentence all together. Gosha asks, can I ask for a friend to sponsor my husband because my income is not enough? You can ask your friend to do that. It's called being a joint sponsor. Historically, it was an open and shut case. If you have a joint sponsor, everything's fine. But with President Trump and his pushing of this public charge rule, you know, they're going to be a little more skeptical on having joint sponsors. They have the opportunity and the right to deny a case even if you have a joint sponsor, whereas before, that was perfectly fine. So ideally, a joint sponsor would be a close friend of the family or might be a family member. That's the best situation and shows that you have a relationship and they would support your husband if your husband needed the money for it. And you want to be working and getting education or really developing yourself, because they're going to really analyze everything where they did it before. And because everything's been shut down with regards to approving these kind of cases to the end for the last couple months, we don't really know how the public charge rule for I-944 or the DS 5540 for the embassy system, how this is actually going to play out, how strict they're going to be on all this stuff is yet to be seen. So you want to be as conservative as possible, try to find a job, try to make money, try to have your education, everything you can do to strengthen the case, because it's a very subjective thing, which means the officers can just make things up if they want to. They can get away with it, because the way they've put the regulation is it's up to them and their opinion, essentially, after looking at you and making a judgment. So there's a lot of worry, frankly, that adds there, so you want to make the case as strong as possible. Saad asks, what should I do if my brother's case is in U.S. Embassy and the status is adjudicated after interview? I don't know. I got to see what's going on with that case. Or maybe contact the embassy and see what it means. Your brother should have received a piece of paper after he left, and it would specify what's going on. So see that paper. If you don't understand it, contact the embassy or contact the immigration lawyer for more help. We got to check out the case to see if there's any problems and what exactly happened. Not enough information there for me to be able to guide you. Matt again asks, can I call USCIS and ask them why my EAD clock stopped? Probably not. I mean, I wouldn't rely on legal advice from USCIS. That's not a smart thing to do. You should contact a lawyer, maybe a pro bono public agency that could help you with that. But never call USCIS for legal advice. It's just, I've seen too much catastrophe happen from something like that. It's not their place to guide you. They just handle the paperwork. You're welcome, Ashmi. User 339 says, can we pay the waiver in the United States instead of Ciudad Juarez? I'm not sure you pay the waiver. If you're doing an I-601A, you pay USCIS. Even the 601 regular, you submit the fee to USCIS. They're the people who adjudicate it. Now, if you're doing a waiver within the embassy, there's no fee for that. Depends on what kind of waiver if you're doing. If you're doing I-192, I think even that's with DHS. So I'm not sure what you're talking about. But if you're doing a waiver, please just consult with an immigration attorney. You shouldn't try to do that on your own. That's a complex kind of thing to take care of. Pooh asks, I'm about to apply for an ITIN number. ITIN is this tax ID number of sorts for a friend. Is it still open for the IRS to do that process? I don't want to get into IRS processing here because I'm an immigration lawyer and I don't want to get into non-immigration related stuff. But consult with an attorney in private and get some advice on that. Goldshine asks, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. You're welcome. It wasn't a question, it was a statement, but I appreciate it. Thank you for coming on, asking questions. I enjoy coming here and just talking with people about all this kind of stuff. So you're welcome, Saad. Kavalu, I call NVC now. Okay, go ahead. You can give it a shot. I'm not sure what your issue or case is, but if you like to call the NBC, then call the National Visa Center. Glusha asks, are you a lawyer or do you work for USCIS? I mean, I'm a lawyer. I don't really, it's illegal for USCIS. No employee US is going to come talk like this. I don't work for USCIS. Absolutely not. Saad says, can I change my parents' tourist visa to PR? You need to consult the immigration attorney. There's a lot of things going on in that question. It's best talking private. Olivia follows up, hi, what other countries are not banned other than Mexico if I spend 14 days outside the UK before returning to USA? Where can I go? I'm currently have an H-1B, thank you. And Olivia, we talked about this yesterday. This is assuming you don't have other kind of inadmissibility issues, which I don't know, so I can't advise whether to go or not. It's really important to say. You know, every country is kind of different. I don't know all the different rules. So like, for example, Canada may or may not let you in. But with regards to US bans, there's China, there's Iran, there's Brazil, there's the Schengen region, plus UK and Ireland. Those are what's travel banned for COVID-19. You know, there's the majority Muslim countries, for example, Syria, I don't know, Libya or something like that. You can't go to that kind of stuff. Other than that, I think it's open for a lot of places, but you know, to go down a list of this kind of stuff, you should just call a lawyer private, or you know, you search online. This stuff's all available. But thanks for the question. Okay, user 72 says, I have my interview in April. You know when my interview? Huh? I have interview in April. You know when my interview? I don't know what that question means. If you mean when it's going to get approved, that's up to the officer. I don't know. Sibby says, I applied for naturalization. Will it be delayed? I mean, there's a backlog of cases. You know, there's a lot of people whose cases were slowed down because they couldn't do the interview. So there might be a delay. They may or may not be. They might just take your case and deal with it first. You just gotta wait. I mean, all these questions about timelines, just you gotta be patient. You have no control over it, so it doesn't really matter. If you gotta wait, you gotta wait. It's a way of stoic thinking. Only try to, if you have control over something, then think about it. If you don't, then just, it is what it is. Abdul asks, I did apply for my green card. Has been 9 months. I'm still waiting. What do you think? I don't know. I don't know anything about you or your case. I can't tell. 9 months is not an abnormal waiting time for a green card. So, but I don't know anything about you, so I can't really give you advice on that. Sammy says, I'm still waiting for an national interview. Yes, wait some more. Farid asks, how is the situation in asylum? Its situation is different for everybody. If you have a good case, you're honestly having an asylum issue, then the situation is great, never been better. But if you have a fake case or you have a weak case, then the situation's not good. That's that. Sibling asks, I applied for naturalization based on marriage after 3 years. So is this case being delayed? I'm not going to answer any more questions about timelines and delays anymore. I've already made clear, you got to be patient. That it is what it is. If you want more detailed answers, consult with an attorney. But I'm kind of going to skip through the timeline kind of questions because I'm sure listeners are going to think it's too repetitive. Yasafa asks, sir, my passport expires. Can I remove my passport in the Singapore embassy here in USA? Well, that's a Singaporeese kind of question. You contact the embassy for Singapore in the United States and ask them if you could do that. Sibling, you're welcome. Chetan asks, hi sir, my girlfriend is 29 and she's a U.S. citizen and I'm 24, but I have an asylum case, so age difference? I don't know what you're talking about, but consult with a lawyer. If you're getting married, I mean, maybe you can solve it by getting married to a U.S. citizen if you enter lawfully. That might just be a thing to do, but you got to talk with the lawyer in private. Okay, Shaitan says age difference would affect the interview. That's not important. If it's a real case, it's a real case. So a lot of people get hung up over this issue that when they say, oh, my age is different, either the husband's much older or the wife's much older, that doesn't really matter. What it is USCIS officers get trained. If they see like there's a list of 10 different stuff they look at. Are these people from different religions? Are these people from different languages? Or all these things that are stereotypically different from couples, they pay attention to that just like anyone else would judge. But if you have one or two of them, it's not a big deal. If you have a lot of them and your interview goes horribly and you have no documentation and you can't answer questions properly, then yeah, that's going to be bad. So you can have the age difference. There's really people who have age differences that are large. I think Russell Crowe, some guy from Australia, the guy who was Wolverine on X-Men in the movies. His wife is much older than him. What's a real relationship? They love each other. Some people say it's a fake relationship. I don't know. But they're married. They've been married. It is what it is. So the age is not something I would be worried about. It's really the totality of your case. Are you a real couple? I mean, if I knew you, would I think you're lying or would I think you're not lying? And that's what you really have to think about when you're doing these kind of cases. Really be prepared. Show how it's a real relationship. Don't worry about age. I've had a case where a woman was 50 years old marrying a 22-year-old guy. We went to the interview. Everything was fine. They were really in love. Love comes in all different packages, every different ways. Is that relationship going to work out? Probably not. It's too much of a big age difference. The guy in 10 years is going to want to have kids. There's all sorts of issues that are going to happen. But it doesn't mean they didn't fall in love and really get married. It's just, all sorts. Look how many marriages end up in divorce. It's not about whether this relationship is going to continue or whether this relationship's, not going to end in divorce. It's about when you got married, did you enter a relationship because you're in love and you want to be married or not? Or did you do it for a green card? And so age is nothing but a number, as they say. But you'll be judged, and you should be prepared for that. And that's why have an attorney is good, an attorney that cares and pays attention. Some attorneys just talk to you on the phone, never see you again. But someone that sits with you and talks about your relationship to pull out these kind of questions, because there's times when some couples don't really get into details of their lives together. They even know each other, even though they're a real couple. And if you go to the interview and they ask these kind of questions, you don't have the answers to them, it's going to look bad, even though you're a real relationship. So really have to be candid about each other's personal lives, backgrounds, to know each other. So if some question pops up, you're not surprised. You don't go to an interview and the officer asks, well, how many brothers or sisters does your wife have? And you don't know the answer to that. Even if you're 100% real relationship, you're just an idiot who doesn't know how many brothers or sisters your wife has, that can get you denied. Even though it's an innocent mistake because you don't care enough about your wife to ask how many brothers or sisters you have. Sorry to hark that. But a typical person would know about the family of the other person. A typical person would know how much their wife makes or husband makes or their lease. So all these details about a relationship that a typical person should know, that's what you should know and be prepared for that. Try to document as much as possible. Sometimes you might have an officer who just won't approve it, but that's rare. I deal with these cases a lot because when people have age differences, usually they do hire an attorney because they're worried about that, and we talk about it. Now, there's one big case that came out that was a fraud case, and these people were an idiot. This one guy wanted to get a green card. He couldn't get it through his girlfriend who he had a kid with because she didn't have status, but her grandma did. So he went and married the grandma, and they all lived together. The grandma was living in the basement, and they filed for a green card case. And it's idiotic that this guy did this because they had a kid with the granddaughter. They came to the house, check it out. They saw pictures of the guy with the girlfriend just hugging each other with their kid. And then they said, well, where does grandma live? And they went and saw the basement was the grandma's room. So it was really obvious and stupid to do that level of fake. So the age difference was wide there, but that's because it was a dumb fake marriage. So you got to really just be conscious of that kind of stuff, and it'll be okay, All right, user 729 asks, I have interview in April and cancel, so my next interview? No, I don't. Cheetah says, I love her so much, relation 2 years, then there you go, love is there, just, do the work, and if you can't hire a lawyer, if you want to consult my office, my email is info@jqqlaw.com. There is a consultation fee, but just email me and we'll talk there and set it up. Soares, hi, good to see you, Chetan. God bless. Pinkley asks, I have an asylum pending, waiting for interview, says cannot apply to PR in Canada. I don't know Canadian immigration law, so I can't advise on to what's going on in Canada. Let's see. All right, so if you go to Canada or not, that's a Canadian thing. But if you do get your residency in Canada, your asylum case will be denied because you do have the option of going to Canada. So be prepared for that kind of stuff. If for immigration purposes, for U.S. immigration purposes, and frankly for TPS as well, If you have the ability to go to a third country in some way and live there, they're going to deny your asylum case. So if, let's say, I've come to the United States, I apply for asylum, but I have the ability to, I can't go back to my home country because I'm afraid that something's going to happen to me there. But if I have some ability to go in some other country and live there, but I'm choosing to come to the United States, they will deny your asylum case because they'll say, well, you could just go to that other country. So you got to be prepared for that when you make an asylum claim. This third-party residency issue is a specific term for it, but that could lead to a denial easily of your asylum case. So be prepared for something like that. So if you do get your, for example, in this question, a gentleman asked, what if I get my residency in Canada? Once that residency is approved, they will deny your asylum case because they'll say you have an alternative. But if your asylum case gets approved before you get residency in Canada, then it's not a problem. But be prepared for that. Gati asks, can you leave the country with a travel document? It depends on a lot of factors. That's too general of a question. You should consult with an attorney in private to check out what's going on with that. As you know, there's different kinds of travel documents. People have different background issues that may exist, and so to just tell you could travel or not, that's just not a safe answer, safe thing for me to say. So that's that. Some people may ask, could I go driving if I had a drink? Well, if you had one beer and you're 300 pounds, yeah, one beer is not going to affect you. But if you had, 3 beers and you're, 80 pounds, yeah, you're going to be drunk as hell. So no, you shouldn't drive. And so, I don't know how much you weigh in this case, if you want to take that analogy. I'm not sure how much you're drinking. And so I really can't advise. This is water right here if you're watching that I'm drinking. But, yeah, so that's why these kind of questions, when you ask, we can't answer, but that's not a thing you want to schedule consultation with an attorney to talk about. So thanks so much for everyone joining. As a quick reminder, my email is info@jqqlaw.com if you wanted to schedule a consultation. I love the group on TikTok, always full of questions, and Instagram too. You guys are great. Thank you for joining. Zindy asks, let me pull that back down. Zind asks, is that affect my case if I couldn't see my husband for 2 years? I don't know. I need to know why you couldn't see your husband for 2 years and what you were doing in the meantime. So there's a lot of different things. For example, I've had cases where, like the wife was a U.S. citizen and the husband was overseas and they were waiting for the case, but the wife couldn't take time off work to go. When she could, the situation politically in that home country was so unstable, it was dangerous for them to go. So they didn't see each other for 2 years, and the foreign spouse couldn't leave the country for his work. And that was that. But it really depends on the facts. We got to see why that is if it comes out. Usually you don't even pay attention, but we have to know what the reason is that you didn't see your house. That's why you got to consult with the attorney and prepare a case so they're ready. You have an answer that's good and ready to go. Gotti asks, she got approved for the green card. They sent a work permit and the travel document. If you got approved for a green card, they wouldn't send a work permit. So I don't know what's going on. Definitely consult with an attorney. We got to get the facts right on that one. And yes, we've been working with my husband's permanent residence for 5 years now. Okay, I don't know why. I don't understand what's going on exactly. Chita asks, how long after your I-485 marriage green card could you get your permanent green card? After your I-485 base marriage green, could you get a permanent? How long after your I-485 marriage based green card petition could you get your permanent green card? It varies. It varies. Different cases are different. Angie Bar, does it take that long? Angie, it depends on what's going on with your case. I mean, not normally, but there's other factors and may think there's fraud involved in your case. I don't know, Angie, I got to see what you did. Some people will file a case and they realize it went to the wrong place and just sitting there for 3 years and they don't even know. So until I see your case, I don't know. 5 years is for a marriage case. That's abnormal, but there's all sorts of these travel bans and this and that could affect things. That's why you got to just talk with a lawyer. I mean, after 5 years, they haven't talked with a lawyer, that itself is a red flag to me. It's like there's something more going on. If you're coming on a live show to ask this question after all these years, you didn't take the time to just call a lawyer up and say, hey, could we do a consultation? So all these factors come in my head when I hear something like that, and that really rings the bell. It's like, well, this person needs to talk to someone in private because it doesn't make any sense that after 5 years they're calling me to ask a question as opposed to just getting down and looking up what's going on with the case or talking with a lawyer and getting professional help. That's why I don't like to answer this question because there's obviously much more going on with it. I hate to be harsh, but that's just the reality of doing this day in, day out for all these years. I have a sixth sense of these kind of things. All right, so thanks for being on Instagram. I like doing these on Thursdays. Friday is going to be on Facebook, and the recording of this is on YouTube. And actually, we started a podcast. So if you go to the JQK immigration podcast, just type in JK immigration or something like that on iTunes, for example, it'll pop up. And we're going to be uploading more and more of these dailies until we catch up because a backlog that I'm uploading still, but that's that. Angie Barr says, we do have a lawyer, but she is never available to talk. She moved without telling us. Well, you should fire that lawyer and potentially file a claim against them, because the lawyer is not supposed to do that. And that's that. That's really unprofessional. But you should get a second opinion to review what's happening. But that's that. Kunas, when will they open the Social Security office? I don't know. I'm not in charge of Social Security office. I don't have any relationship with them to be able to answer that. And so yeah, a lot of this stuff you got to be patient for. I'm not the person to go answer these kind of questions. Mushi asks, I have a question. Go ahead, Mushi. Everyone just throws out the question. If I can answer, I can. If I can't, I can't. So let me know, Musi Fisha or something like that. What is the question that you have? All right, while we're waiting for that question, let's see. Yeah, you know, we brought an important point. Sometimes people hire a lawyer, especially immigration lawyers. That fortunately, there's a bad reputation among immigration lawyers that they hire them, they pay, and then they disappear. Sometimes when clients say that, they're making a mistake. They have answered, but they just say that kind of stuff. But many times it's true. And one reason is because, you know, not my firm, because I only take on a few cases a month, but some firms just take on volumes, tons and tons of cases, and they can't handle it all. So they lose track of people, they don't answer emails and stuff, and some people are just not organized. And this happens a lot, where your lawyer won't contact you back, you don't hear from them, you don't know what's going on. That is a serious issue. That's the number one issue that could get attorneys disbarred, meaning they could lose their license. So if you have an attorney, you try contacting them multiple times, you call them, wrote a letter maybe, faxed them even, or emailed them, and you have this on record where they're just not answering you, unfortunately the next step may be to contact the local bar association for that state. So if you're from, you know, a California attorney, you contact the California bar and say, listen, I keep trying to contact my lawyer, I pay them, we have a contract, and they still haven't answered me, and my case is pending. It's not right. And the bar will go contact that attorney and see if that's true or not, and work a way out, and they may have to give your money back, they may have to, you know, there'll be a situation, but again, the main thing is that a lawyer is supposed to be there for you. If they're not, you can file a claim against them, and you know, a claim may disappear, but it may force the attorney to do something, or it'll help you move on to a different attorney, or maybe even get your money back if it's appropriate. So that's something you really want to be cautious of, really be on top of. Is the responsibility of an attorney, just like a doctor, to be there for their patient or their client. They can't just disappear. And they shouldn't just take on 1,000 cases so they don't have a time. It's not a good answer, you know. So don't let that happen if your attorney's not. Now, I have like one client right now. He emails me every day because of the travel ban, asking what's going on with the travel ban today. And I told him, listen, I'm not going to answer anymore. Watch these videos because I don't know what's happening with travel ban. Trump is said until the end of the year, and that's that. But he still contacts me every day. So now I said, listen, I'm just not going to answer you because there's nothing to answer, but you have my record. If something changes, obviously I'll let you know. And so if he complained, I have an email trail that says, listen, I answered this guy 50 times. And the 51st time I said, I just can't keep doing this anymore. And so I'm not worried about him complaining about it because I told him the situation. But if you're really sincerely trying to contact the person with information or not, that's something you should really contact the state bar and ask about. All right, Mushi's question is, my mom is married to a U.S. citizen and she got her social security number and stuff probably. She also brought us his stepkids. What is the process and how long does it take for stepkids? Okay, there's a lot going on there. You need a consultant immigration attorney. For you to come as well with the case, I got to see what's going on, your ages, how the relationship is. There's a lot of things going on there, so I need to talk with you, your mom, and your stepfather and see the whole case, see your birth certificates, marriage certificates for the previous spouse, the current spouse, divorce. There's a lot of things I need to analyze first before I answer that question. Please schedule a consultation with my office. info@jqqlaw is my website. There is a consultation fee, but email me, remind me what your question is, and I can tell you how much that would be for your case. But this is not something to talk about here. My ex says, hi, I'm a U.S. citizen. I filed an I-130 from my husband since February and haven't heard back. Well, you should have got a receipt. If you did, then you have to be patient. From February to June is not anything normal. If you didn't get a receipt, that's an issue you should look into. Mark says, what should I do, please? I just answered that. Yeah, I mean, you know, you file the case and you wait. I mean, things take time. There's a lot of cases happening. Unfortunately, there's delays with USCIS, and that's that. BJ asks, I filed an I-485 on behalf of my son. Well, you don't file a 485 behalf, so your son applies for the own I-485. And you got an I-693 2 months ago. Okay, and no, I'm not sure what you, I got to see what's going on with the case, but I don't know. I got to see what's going on. It's not the place to ask this kind of case-specific advice, BJ. Mushi, you're welcome. yeah, if you file a case and you're waiting, either you got to wait more or you got to bring me the documents so I see what you submitted to see if there's any issues or errors with it. But most of the time you just have to wait. I mean, 2 months is nothing. Mark says, yes, I did get a receipt for I-130. Okay, then just wait. You could always go to uscis.gov. They have a case processing times button there. You follow the prompts, the questions there are there, and you'll get to an answer of how long processing times are, and you'll see 2, 3, 6 months is nothing. So you just have to be patient. All right, that leads us to the end of our show for today. Thank you everyone for joining. Ask your questions. I'll be back again here Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific time on TikTok, Immigration Lawyer John. John is J-O-H-N. And on Facebook, JQK Law Firm. The recording of this will be on the JQK Law Firm YouTube page. You can catch it all there along with clips and a lot of other information. If you're on the Instagram page, you'll see copies of my approvals, copies of reviews, and other kind of information posting there. That'll be helpful. So just join the catalog. If you're on TikTok, if you go to my page and first follow, but also click on the link there, it'll come down with a breakdown of my reviews, my website, my newsletter, so you can stay abreast and updated of the most recent information. Please come back again tomorrow. If you have any questions, 5 p.m. Pacific time, right here on TikTok and on Facebook, JQK Law Firm. Until then, y'all have a great time. God bless. Be safe.